Hello, my name is Lozano-Diaz, and I'm so excited to share with you exactly how I got here, so how I'm sitting right here in this chair, actually making this video and applying for Master Trainer. Gosh, when I say that, that seems really surreal, but I'm excited that I am able to share the journey with you. So, my name is Lozano-Diaz, I'm 42, I'm married, and I have 3 awesome children. My husband, who supports me with everything that I do, that makes it very easy for me to go through this journey. So I chose talking about my journey because I'm most passionate about it, and I feel that it's the easiest to speak about, and it comes from my heart, and it's led me to right where I am sitting right here in this chair right now. So my journey starts back in 2006 when I had my 3rd child, my son Augustin, and I was 34 at the time, so I was struggling a little bit with bouncing back to my regular self. And not only that, I was just kind of feeling tired and just straight up blah. So I thought, well, maybe it's just because I have 3 kids now and I'm just really tired, and so maybe that's what's going on. But I did find out later that I was having thyroid issues, which was causing a lot of the lethargicness that was going on. And they said I needed to get healthy and I needed to exercise. So I thought, okay. And so I started walking and I was running, but it wasn't consistent, and I didn't change my diet whatsoever. So I continued to kind of feel like I was standing still in my life. And I almost was accepting that, well, I'm a mom of 3 and my body's changed and this is where I'm gonna stay. And I started to feel complacent and content with that. So I was continuing to feel kind of blah and just going nowhere. And I began off and on. I started and I stopped. I started and I stopped, trying to do different things, walking on the treadmill, whatever it might be, and wasn't really enjoying myself. So I did this for a couple of years, off and on, off and on. And it wasn't until my husband, who's in the Army, he deployed to Afghanistan for the 2nd time. And it's when I really started to say, you know what, I really need to make a permanent change. So I was on Facebook one night, and a friend of mine reached out to me who I hadn't talked to in like 20 years. And we were chatting back and forth, and he says, I gotta go do a webinar. And I thought, oh my gosh, what does he do? So he says, I said, what do you do, Bob? He says, oh, come check it out. So I'm gonna go back a couple weeks before. A couple weeks before, I asked a friend of mine, hey, I'm looking for a video that I could do at home because it's really hot. I live in Orlando, Florida. It's really hot, and I just don't want to walk outside anymore. So she recommended this video called Turbo Jam, and I said, okay, so I ordered it online. I can't even remember where I ordered it, and keeping that in mind, going back to the webinar, I watched this webinar, and I'm seeing all these different videos and these products and all these people talking about success stories and feeling better and these shakes and all of this, and I'm like, what is this? Then I see Turbo Jam as one of the videos, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I just ordered it. What's the chances here? So after the webinar, and I saw a lot of stuff, and I was just like, I don't really understand what this is, but I saw Turbo Jam, and I saw a lot of success. So I contacted my friend, Bob, who was a Beachbody coach, and I said, hey, listen, I ordered that program, and I saw it on your webinar, and you know, he's like, oh, it's so great, and the shakes and all this, and I was like, I don't really drink shakes, and I don't like the way they taste, and I don't believe in that stuff. And he said, well, just try it. I'm gonna send you a sample. I said, okay. So in the interim, I was waiting for the sample of the shake, I was waiting for Turbo Jam, found Turbo Jam, saw Shalene, and saw the workout, and was addicted and hooked right out the gate. So I did Turbo Jam. Of course, tasted the Shakeology, loved it, started drinking it, and then decided to become a discount Beachbody coach because of the discount, and never imagined coaching anybody, you know. So here I am drinking the shakes, and I'm doing Turbo Jam, and then Turbo Fire came out, and I was like, oh my gosh, more turbo. So started doing Turbo Fire at home, completed the program, loved it, couldn't get enough of it, did the program again after. Then I found out there was live classes, and that blew me away because at home alone, I was excited and I was seeing changes, not just physically, but changes in me as a person, so much growth. And my children were even starting to change habits in their lives as well. And then when my husband returned from Afghanistan, he was like, who's this? Who is this new person? So, and he's like, what are these shakes you're drinking? What is this? Anyhow, so started to move along, found the live classes, and was like, oh my goodness, I have to be here as often as I can, because the live classes were like 10 times, I don't want to say better, but the way that you felt when you were in that live class was a feeling I will never ever forget. And I remember going to this live class and thinking to myself, I want to be here as much as I possibly can. So I started taking the live classes, and it was every Friday night. That was the only time I would make it. I'd bring my daughters with me, and we'd go, and that would be our night out. And then I met Allie, who is my mentor now, Allie Upham, and this was back in 2010 now, so it was about 4 years into my journey, 2010, and I said, I really love this, and she says, you should become an instructor, and I'm like, what? Like, I'm like close to 40, and I never would envision doing something like this at this point in my life, and she's like, well, why not? And I'm like, I don't know why not. It's not part of the plan. So I said, okay, sure, yes, I will sign up for the training. So drove up to Gainesville and became certified as an instructor, and honestly was not sure what I was really going to do with that. So I was certified to become an instructor in November of 2010. And didn't do anything with being an instructor. I kept on doing the programs. I did Turbo Fire, I did Insanity, and was just doing the programs and drinking the shakes, and people were asking me along the way, and they were getting inspired and, you know, getting motivated, and I was happy to share with them, and I was doing a little bit of coaching. So finally there was an opportunity that came up almost a year later, so it was August 2011. I lived in a little community, and they had a community center, and I finally got the nerve to go in there and say, hey, can I teach Turbo Kick? And they were like, what's Turbo Kick? I'm like, it's this really fun cardio and music and just fun. And they were like, sure. Like, I didn't even have to interview or anything. And they were like, yeah, sure. And I'm like, this is too good to be true. So I had 2 people for like 3 months. 2 people would come to class, but I was determined to, I wanted to create an environment where people could come in and just have fun and move. And I wanted people to feel the way I felt when I walked into that Turbo Kick class. So that was my mission. I was like, I want people to have fun, and I want to be able to maybe create more leaders even by having people come in and take the class. So started with 2 people for 3 months, and then the class started growing and growing and growing, and I met all these awesome people and had about maybe 10 people in the class. So it was going and going, and then there was another opportunity that came up, and I wanted to start teaching other classes, other places, because now at this point in my life I thought to myself, wow, maybe I can make a living doing this, you know? So I went and I actually approached, there was another studio that was about maybe 20 minutes away from where I lived, and I approached a person who was doing a Zumba demonstration, and they were representing their studio at a mall. And I walked up to them and I said, I introduced myself, I told them I was a Turbo Kick instructor, and they were kind of like, what's Turbo Kick? So I had explained it to them a little bit. And they said, come on in, we want to interview you and do an audition. And I thought, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? So I'd never done an audition because I didn't have to audition before. But I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna go in and just do what I love. So went into the audition, and they loved it. And they said, yes, we want to add you to the schedule. So they put 2 classes on that week. So I was teaching 2 classes at the community center and then 2 classes now at the mall. And this was in September. So in August I started teaching at the other place in September. So I had like 4 classes on the schedule now. So excited, and people were really responding to the classes, and there was people just like high-fiving each other when walking into the class, and that energy was being built, and it was amazing. And I thought to myself, yes, this is exactly where I want to be, and this is what I want to be doing. And to have people come in and feel good while creating movement and putting movement into their life is phenomenal. It's phenomenal. So I've been teaching, and then I was introduced to PIO, and that blew me away, and I'm like, I love Turbo so much. I don't know, I think I'm just gonna stay with Turbo. But I thought, it's time for me to grow as an instructor. So I was introduced to PIO and became PIO certified in 2012 and started teaching about a month and a half. I think it was like right when I got my certification, I began teaching classes, and that was incredible as well. So I've been teaching Turbo Kick, PIO, became Insanity certified, started teaching that class, and I think what I love most about being an instructor is seeing people step out of their comfort zones, come in, try something that they thought they could never do, and then finding the love for it, really, really finding the love for it. So taught there and moved on to another studio. I helped a friend open up another studio, and I taught PIO there, I taught Turbo Kick, I taught Insanity, and helped her build there. Then a friend of mine who I met when I first started teaching Turbo Kick back in 2010 approached me, and which I thought at the moment was super crazy, and she says, we need to open a studio here where we live, teaching these formats. And I'm like, okay, so I'll just come in and like be the instructor. That's cool, and I'll kind of help you manage and stuff. She's like, no. She's like, I want you to be a co-owner. And I thought, me? What? I don't know anything about running a business. She's like, well, learn. And she had lots of experience, and I prayed about it, and I came to the conclusion and had all this support, and finally realized that, okay, sure, let's do this. So where I'm sitting right now around here, this is the studio. So I'm co-owner of a studio in the community that I live in, sharing what I love so much, which are the 2 formats that are so true to my heart, Turbo Kick and PIO Live. And we are building and creating leaders here right in our backyard. So I love to empower and help create leaders, and I thought that at this point, this is my next step. My next step is going to empower and create more leaders at a bigger level, and where I can reach more people. And so this is where I'm sitting right now, talking to you all about becoming a master trainer, where I can help create other leaders and share what I've learned and share my journey, and help people say, hey, listen, you can do it too. I'm no different from you. You can do this, and I believe in you, and you believe in you, and help them to get to a point where not necessarily owning a fitness facility or becoming a fitness instructor, but allow them to realize that pushing through and stepping out of your comfort zone here will allow other freedoms and allow you to take that momentum and put it in any area of your life that you want to grow. So being able to bring people in to facilities like this all over the state of Florida, I would love to help in that movement. And I feel that I'm qualified because I'm an owner of a studio, and I can relate to other owners of other studios. So in addition to being an owner and an instructor, I can not only share the true love for it, but I can also share the benefit of what bringing these awesome formats into their studio will do for people that come into their place. So thank you so much for allowing me to share this with you. And I'm privileged and honored to do what I do. And I guess that's it. I guess that's pretty much it. That's where I am right now. So I am looking forward to moving forward and pursuing this as a master trainer and whatever else comes my way after. So thank you very much.